Look at this 4080 scalper. He basically told me I'm better off just going to Micro Center and buying it then. So we're going to have a little fun. I messaged scalpers that are selling the RTX 4080 on Facebook Marketplace, and their reactions were absolutely hilarious. Of course, I cropped out their names so everything stays private, but nonetheless, this is really crazy, and you're going to be pretty shocked at some of these responses. Like, let's go to this first one here. Our first seller here is selling a Gigabyte Aero OC RTX 4080, a white version, for $1,600 is what he has it listed for. Now this retails for $1,299, and yes, I saw this available at Micro Center on launch day. If you look at the picture I took at Micro Center, it was actually at the top of the stack, and this was like way after the store opened. Nobody really wanted this GPU. Yes, some white GPUs are desirable, but maybe not as much a Gigabyte one. It's not like an Asus Strix or something like that. But anyway, I started up some kind of casual conversation with him just to see actually how far it can go. Of course, I ask him if it's available just to make sure, and then I play a little bit innocent, like I don't really know too much about GPUs. I'm just a novice buyer trying to buy myself a 4080, something that, resellers really like, because that's the type of people they're going to rip off very easily. So to make sure, I ask, is this a 4080 or a 4090? You can't really know because that price is a 4090 price, at least the MSRP. He says 4080. I just say, okay, wasn't sure of the difference. I thought the 4080 was less, hee. Like, that's like my little hint. But then I'm like, what's the best price you can do on it? So hopefully he would have told me $1,299, which is the MSRP, but he tells me $550, which is still a significant amount above the MSRP of an already expensive GPU. And then I just kind of agree with him. I said, oh, makes sense. 4080 seem to be sold out everywhere. Once again, I'm being a little sarcastic, but not trying to give everything away. And then he says, oh, white cards tend to sell faster and harder to get. Maybe he's the one that doesn't know too much and thought that this was going to be a sure sale at $1,600, but it's still up, so definitely not. Then I ask him some more regular questions. Do you know if the warranty transfers over? He says, as long as you have the receipt, which he has. Okay, so at least he has the proof of purchase. That I'm not doubting at all. I don't think he's a scammer or anything. If I buy that GPU, definitely he's probably going to give it to me with the receipt. The problem here is nobody should really be scalping 4080s because nobody really wants to buy them. So then I kind of continue, nice, let me think on it. Have you had a lot of demand for this 4080 or people not as curious? I wasn't sure if the 4090 was more worth it. Definitely, I wanted to see how much he may know about it, or if he's going to try to, just not tell me the truth. Obviously, the 4090 is going to be more worth it, especially at the price you'd be paying the scalper here, because literally that is a 4090 price. So he just says both are incredible cards, and he's not sure if there are any white production 4090 GPUs. Okay, so that seems like a reasonable answer, but then I decided to troll him a little bit. Any chance you could price match Micro Center for this 4080? They have it in stock and it's $1,299. Oh, plus they also give me a 5% discount. Could he match that? And then I just say, just checking. Not sure how this all works, of course. And then his response is actually pretty funny. You can go there and buy one. Awesome find. So obviously by this point, he probably just gave up on me. And especially when I made that comment, I was like, can you price match Micro Center? That's pretty funny because that's where he got it. I mean, I saw it there in stock. Then I decided to keep the conversation going a little bit further. And I said, okay. I wanted to SLI two together. I want to SLI a 4080 or a 4090 so I can double it for 4K. Obviously now I'm just being 100% trolling here. And then he says, no worries, good, and thumbs up. He probably just didn't want to deal with this anymore. But you can see you're not really going to get any decent information out of, these type of sellers. They just want to sell it and make the money on top of the GPU. Something that anybody, especially where he's selling it, they could have gone to Micro Center and they could still go today and find these GPUs in stock. Pretty crazy. I don't know if people really have an idea of what's going on. So let's keep going because it gets pretty funny. So this next one didn't go very far. It's kind of a dud. I asked them, are you selling 4080s? Is this one available? And they pretty much said, nope, sorry, just sold it. So that kind of piqued my interest and I was like, what did it sell for? They said $1,575. I just said thank you. They said you're welcome. And this was actually on an Asus TUF 4080. So that went for definitely more than I thought. But you can see that they dropped the price. If they could have gotten like $1,800 or more for that, definitely pretty interesting. But this points to something else. A lot of these, resellers, after they got the GPU and they saw that there's really no markup for it because people aren't buying it, they started to drop the price. And at one point, they just really want to get rid of it. And that's going to be one of the other people that I talk to. You'll see how low they're willing to go. And then let's go to the next one. He's selling an Asus TUF for $1,700. Now, it doesn't clarify or say anywhere if this was the OC version, which had a retail price of $13.99, or the base $11.99. I'm going to guess it's probably the $11.99 base, and he's just jacking the price up pretty high. Of course, I start with the regular questions. Is it available? Yes, it is. Is this the 4090 version or the 4080? I kind of like that question because it's basically like a 4090 price on a 4080. So it's almost like asking, shouldn't this be a little bit cheaper? And then he answers that it's a 4080, but he also mentions that he does have a 4090 for sale, but it's not a TUF. It's going to be a gigabyte. Then I just kind of say, kind of making believe I don't really know what's going on. Okay, wasn't sure of the difference. I thought the 4080 was less. Hee. Of course, trying to give him the hint that I know sort of what's going on here. Then I ask him, what's the best price you can do on it? He says lowest he can go is $1,600 for the 4080s. I mean, you could literally go close to where this guy is selling this and buy it in stock. I mean, they have it available right when I was talking to this guy. So that's going to be a lot better just to get it from wherever you buy it. And it's going to end up being cheaper too. Curiously, I ask him, what are you selling the 4090 for? He says $23.50, the gigabyte overclock edition. Now, that's a significant markup on the 4090, but the 4090 is an entirely different problem because some people will actually pay more money for it. And he also mentions he has a 3080 for $700. Incidentally, that's almost the difference between what he's charging on this 4090 and what the retail MSRP of that 4090 should be. Probably it was like $16.99 or something. So that's a pretty big markup because this is even eBay that he's trying to sell here. So he's not going to have fees and things like that. This is just straight up, selling to a regular person. So we keep going. Then and I kind of ask him, do you know if the warranty is going to transfer over? And then he says, yeah, the graphics card has the manufacturer's warranty. You have to register it online, all the usual stuff. He can double check on the Gigabyte website. Once again, I don't think they're trying to pass something off that it isn't. It's just that the price is too high. Then he did mention that both the 4080 and 4090 are from Newegg, but of course they also sell it locally in a Micro Center. And then once again, I pull my favorite line here. Any chance you could price match Micro Center for the 4080 TUF? They have it in stock and it's $11.99, all plus the 5% discount that they give me. Just checking, not sure how this works. So I think that's kind of like a funny question because this is the point where you're like, okay, I kind of got you. I know that these are in stock and they sell them at Micro Center. Like we see the stacked GPUs. Literally, there's 5 Micro Centers near the area where this guy is selling this GPU within an hour to an hour and a half drive. So you can definitely find it. His response here is a little bit telling with that very fact that I just said that there are local Micro Centers here. Listen to what he says. He says, of course, if people want to go to Micro Center and get that, fine with me or with him, better for them. Honestly, he's firm at $1,600 and most people are not local to Micro Center. So he says driving far is something that a lot of people don't want to do. So a lot of these resellers take advantage of that fact that they can go to the store, buy it at MSRP, and then resell it to somebody. Maybe it could even be a different state or that live further away, or maybe that person's not aware that Micro Center is actually selling it for MSRP and you can get it and make sure you have warranty. Because remember, if you buy it from a reseller like this, maybe they'll give you the receipt, of course, but you don't know if they're going to be a scammer. That's something that could possibly happen, which you don't really have a chance of that happening in a physical, well-known store like Micro Center, because there you're going to have a transaction probably with a credit card or something like that. So you have a lot more protection. And then, of course, you don't know if the warranty is going to necessarily transfer over. It may with some GPUs, maybe sometimes not if you're not the original purchaser. So that could be a little bit of a murky area on such an expensive item. And then, of course, obviously, he's kind of taking advantage of the fact people don't have Micro Centers available to them, or maybe they're not going to know about it. So I kind of, pull another line that I pulled before, which I think is a little funny. I tell him, okay, I wanted a SLI2 together. I got got one 4090 so far, and I want to SLI a 4080 or a 4090 to it so I can double it for 4K. Obviously here I'm being like 100% funny, especially SLIing doesn't even work anymore, especially a 4090 and a 4080. Doesn't make any sense at all, but I just wanted to say something a little bit ridiculous and see what their reaction is. And of course, he says, yeah, that would be nice. Good luck with that, man. And then I just say, okay, thank you. I'm going to think it over, let you know a little bit later. And then he just says, okay, thanks. And then we stop talking. Of course, he goes right back to the sale, kind of ignoring the completely absurd thing that I said about SLIing two of them together, which I think is funny. You guys might think it's funny, but he's probably just getting annoyed that it seems like, he's not going to know if I'm trolling him or if I just don't know what the hell's going on. He just wants to make that GPU sale. He's going to be firm on that price. Maybe he's used to selling with other things back in the past. All right, guys, so just stay on the lookout. Of course, most people aren't even buying 4080s, but a couple of people are, and even shockingly, some are buying it from resellers. Maybe they don't know about Micro Center, even though these people all live pretty close. I could see if you live somewhere else. So a lot of interesting things going on here. And of course, at the end of the day, a lot of people are used to what happened in the GPU shortage the last 2 years, both on the selling side, they want to maintain those same profits and that same type of flow, and on the buyer side, where they just assume these GPUs are sold out and they have to pay a higher price. So they may not know. They may just go on eBay or Facebook Marketplace and sort of get taken advantage of by these type of situations. So definitely something good to point out, because after, at the end of the day, the seller that's selling it to you, they're definitely not going to let you know that you can buy it locally, even if you're right next to a store, for much cheaper and get, definitely get the warranty and get a return period. They're just going to try to sell it to you at the highest price possible. Only thing you can do is just not buy it from them. All right, guys, so remember to subscribe, smash that like button, let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you guys on the next video.